Good evening, everybody. John with ACTION-FLIX.com coming at you again in the last couple days. How about that? The other day, I did a trailer talk on the Action Fix podcast where I looked at some of the latest in action cinema trailers. We took a look at Rebel Ridge as well as The Hounds of War with Frank Grillo from the great Isaac Florentine, director maestro, as well as the Tiger Style Media Flicks Art of Eight Limbs and Lockdown. So that's now on YouTube. Funny thing, I've not put it on my website yet. Sorry. I mean, I'm like I said, with work and everything, I just got promoted. So don't congratulate me though. It's not necessarily a great thing. I mean, I just basically did it for more money, but it's more of a headache. And what are you gonna do? But I'm wearing my Rambo shirt right now, so it's all good. But other than that, we're here for the weekly intel. So let's get it rolling here, everybody. So first and foremost, let's jock it up, baby. Let's do the handshake. And just because I haven't done it in a while, a little dancing. Yep. A little dancing and a little stretching. And then, of course, I got to get my kung fu fighting in. All right. So we are all set here on the Action Fix podcast for the weekly intel. So if you don't know, D23 is going on right now. That's probably the biggest thing this weekend. So that's what Disney does, where everybody go. It's kind of like a Comic-Con, but it's not. It's just basically like Disney hyping up their stuff. So we had some news on Daredevil Born Again, the Fantastic Four. So Kevin Feige, fresh off San Diego Comic-Con, came to D23 with some stuff we're going to talk about here. There's also Tron Ares. If you know the sequel, Tron Ares is coming. I have not shared this news on my website, but we have some news for that too. My daughter's excited. Lilo and Stitch. They finally revealed what Stitch is going to look like in the new live action Lilo and Stitch movie. And he looks great. And we couldn't be happier because we were a little worried. Like we were seeing some stuff on the internet and I was telling my daughter, look, okay, this is not what he's going to look like. This is just regular people with way too much time and use of AI because there was some freaky looking stuff coming on there. My daughter was like, she's like, Daddy, he's not going to look like in the cartoon. I'm like, yes, he is. Disney is not stupid. I mean, it wasn't Disney that did Sonic the Hedgehog, but we all know that fiasco is Sony. But Disney wasn't gonna like make Stitch and like totally redo him and be like, "Hey, here's your new Stitch," and then there's a freaking outcry, and then they have to postpone the movie for 6 months, like Sonic the Hedgehog when they went back. Had to basically spend millions of dollars to like fix them. That was funny. But what are you going to do? All right. So it's Saturday night. I was off today. I watched the American basketball team win gold. Holy cow. Stephen Curry is a 3-point beast. Oh my God. Holy shit. Sorry for the language, Dad. But wow. I mean, just in those last couple minutes alone, he's like, whoosh. He's like, rah, whoosh. I was like, okay, let's just put everybody on Stephen Curry's back, and he'll do what he did to the Cleveland Cavaliers so many times in the playoffs. But we did beat you one time for the championship when LeBron came back and was on the Cavs again, and then we won one championship, which, being that Cleveland, where I'm from, never won a championship, that was pretty big stuff. But yeah, holy cow, what a game. Because, it's funny, and I'm just going to say this before I get started with the actual weekly intel. Like, the U.S. men's basketball team was pretty much just, like, winning by 20, 30 points like they always do. But then, like, the last couple, like, they had to come back from behind in the last game. And then now today, with France, it was a tight game. But then Stephen Curry was just like, listen, everybody, I'm just going to show you why I'm one of the best, if not the best, in men's basketball. And then the women's soccer team won gold, I just saw before I went on the air. So congratulations to them. So the USA kicking some ass in the Olympics with the gold medals. Couldn't be more prouder of my country as we head into election year. And holy cow, what a scary thought that is. But I'm not even going to get into that. Okay, so let's get started. Here we go. Boom. Hey, look, Daredevil Born Again. That's the new logo, by the way, for the Disney Plus limited series that is coming. Now we know it's coming next March on Disney Plus. So I did the trailer talk a couple days ago. I did Rebel Ridge. I did The Art of Eight Limbs. I did Lockdown. And of course, I did The Hounds of War. And there's the biggest thing right there that we're going to talk about today. Scott Adkins shared the first official image from his new movie that he's filming in the Philippines with director Louis Mandylor, who we all know Louis Mandylor is a awesome action star in his own right. Adkins and Mandylor, friends in real life, longtime collaborators. Of course, we all know that they did the Debt Collector movies from Jesse V. Johnson together. They did the Debt Collector and then Debt Collectors. We want a third movie, but who knows if it's going to happen. They were in Avengement together, and of course, they're going to be in Skyline Warpath together. But Lewis is not in this movie. He's directing his friend Scott Adkins in what can best be described as a World War II blood sport action thriller. And I'll get into the synopsis and everything here in a second. But that's the first official still. Now, we all know Adkins has his Patreon account or his page where you can get exclusive content. And he shares like first look images a lot of times, like, to fans who pay for it and stuff like that. So we patiently wait, and he shared another image from Death March on it, but I don't pay for it. Sorry. So I wait until, it comes out for all to see on social media. So this is his first official steal or image, if you will. There's the full look of him ready for action. And this is sounding like a really, really good movie. Not that, I was worried. It's like, there's one of those movies. It's funny if you think about, because a lot of Scott Adkins movies, have you guys noticed in the past, there's a trend where like we'll get news on Scott Adkins who's going to be in a certain movie, and then that movie like disappears. There was a movie that he was going to do with Cam Giganda from William Kaufman that got, if anybody knows, but I believe that was called Violence of Action, I believe. And so so then the Kickboxer Armageddon, he's supposed to be the bad guy in Kickboxer Armageddon. And then he gets announced in these movies, and then we share the info on our websites and everything. But then he comes out of the blue and he's like, oh, I'm filming this movie. Like, take cover. Like, it was like, I'm filming this movie. And I'm like, okay, what is this movie? And it's not on the IMDb, and you're looking around for info and stuff like that. And then he was in that Egyptian movie, it was like, okay, now he's in an Egyptian movie, which looked kind of good actually. And now it was Death March, and he was sharing on social media. He's like, getting in shape, I'm working out, doing great things. He looks phenomenal, and it's like awesome. And he's like, and I'm like, and then it was like, director Louis Mandylor is directing Death March, and I'm like, what in the actual F is Death March? Because it's not on the IMDb. It is now, and now we know things about it. We know like what the cast is and what the synopsis is. We haven't seen any footage yet, but I'm assuming that's coming. The film is still in production in the Philippines. They're still currently filming. I'm assuming they're probably almost done with it because they've been filming for a little bit. And we all know these indie action movies, they don't like spend weeks and weeks of filming. It's like a month, if that, maybe, and then Scott probably gets like a day or two to actually, practice his fights and do them for the camera, which, I've talked to him in the past about it. But yeah, so now we know it's Death March. Yay. So it's on the IMDb, so it's official. They're filming it. God bless them. So along with the image of him holding his practice battle-ready weapon, the film is about a British RAF wing commander named James Wright, who's captured by the Japanese during World War II and forced to fight in brutal hand-to-hand combat. The Japanese soldiers get more than they bargained for when Wright's years of martial arts training in Hong Kong prove him to be a formidable opponent. Don't you hate when that happens? Because I sure as hell do. So I was actually joking the other day. I did Gunner again with Luke Hemsworth. I showed the trailer again for that. I was like a bonus trailer on my trailer talk because I'd already shown the trailer for Luke Hemsworth's Gunner, which is coming out next Friday and I'm all set for that one. And I was like, listen, bad guys, if you're going to kidnap children or wives or girlfriends or any relative of somebody, make sure that they're not former former special forces operatives or Green Berets or Navy SEALs, you know, or Army Rangers, or it's hysterical. It's like, oh, what are you gonna do? It's like I laugh actually, and it's just like. I love it. 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 So now we got Scott Adkins, who is in this movie, and the Japanese kidnap him. Like, oh, we're gonna make this British guy, because usually like British. I'm sorry, but like well, look at him. I mean, for one, he looks formidable. I mean, good lord. I mean, the Japanese should have known better. Like when they saw how in shape this guy was, but like now it's like. It's like, oops. That's all. And I said it in my article too. And I was like, can you say oops? It's like, oh, we captured this guy and we're going to make him fight. Oh, God damn it. He's good. And he's kicking everybody's ass. And now, of course, probably something's going to happen where he's going to make a break for it. So what are you going to do? I love it. But hey, we're all the better for it. We're the winners because we get to watch it. And it's super exciting. And I cannot wait for it. Basically, they announced the cast for the film. Shane Kasugi, we all know Shane Kasugi, not Sho Kasugi's other brother, Kane Kasugi, but it's Shane Kasugi is going to be in this one, as well as Cowboy Cerrone, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, who is an MMA fighter, and he's been doing a lot of movies. Actually, he's been doing a lot of movies with Louis Mandylor because he was in 3 Days in Malay, which is the last movie that Louis Mandylor directed, which came out last year. And was a pretty solid action film, and actually made it to the best of 2024, I believe, in 2023. I'm sorry, this is 2024. I forgot where I was for a second. And yeah, so you got a good solid cast, and you got Scott Adkins doing Scott Adkins things. And we got Shane checking in. He says, "Didn't he do this in Savage Dog? Who cares?" Yeah, he did, but he wasn't a soldier in Savage Dog. But yeah, he got into mixing it up and stuff. But I'll take as much period action from Scott Adkins as I can. He next time it could be World War One. He could get captured in World War One and be forced to fight, and I'll watch it. And then it could be the Vietnam War. He could get captured and forced to fight, and I'll watch it. Then it could be the Afghanistan war. He could get captured and forced to fight, and I'll still watch it. Why? Because it's Scott Adkins doing Scott Adkins things. So what's not to love about it? So yeah, so that's still in production. We got a still, so hopefully we're gonna get more in the future as he's releasing them and footage. I would love to see footage, but that might be a ways off as they're still in production and everything. So here's the thing. I want to know about the other movies, like Scott Adkins has, in the like what's going on with Kickboxer Armageddon and stuff like that. So we all know that like he's got the Killer's Game, but he's not a star of that movie. He's probably going to be like in a scene or two, if that, where he plays one of the killers that goes after Dave Bautista. He's in Take Cover. That's the movie where he plays the sniper, where he gets trapped in the all glass house with another sniper where he has nowhere to hide and stuff like that. And of course, we know he has Diablo with Marco Zawar, which is looking and shaping up to be a great movie. And he's got Skyline Warpath, where he's teaming up with Eco US from the great Liam O'Donnell, who has done the Skyline movies. But let's get going with Kickboxer Armageddon. I want to see you fight Alan Musi. Let's get it happening, shall we? Let's get let's get it happening. Yes, baby. Yes, I know Skyline Warpath is in post-production. Yes, I know. That one I know. Yes, but I'm just asking about Kickboxer Armageddon. And because that was supposed to start. I heard that was starting to film in April, because I was saying how it would be great for Scott Adkins to reunite with Donnie Yen in the Flashpoint movie sequel that they were making. And then somebody came to me, "Oh, you're filming at the same time they're doing Kickboxer Armageddon." I'm like, "Yes, I know. I'm just saying it's my opinion. I would like to see them get a rematch in that movie." Plus, they teased it on social media. If you remember, I'm not stupid. I saw this. Donnie Yen was like, "Hey, Scott Adkins," and Scott Adkins was like, "What? Be part of one of the sequel to one of the best martial arts movies ever? Sign me up!" And everybody thought they were like teasing because it was going to happen and stuff like that. So it's not like I was pulling it out of my butt. But yeah, so I'm assuming it's going to happen, and stuff like that. So we shall see. We shall see. Then, like I said, D23 is going on right now, which is kind of like the Disney's Comic Con, where they, basically, I'd like to go to one of these things, just one. Like, I'd like to go to a San Diego Comic Con just to say that I've been there. I mean, it sounds like a pain in the ass though, because 8 million people go there, and like if you want to go to Hall H and see any of the good stuff, you probably have to camp out like 3 days and miss the whole Comic Con, because like if you want to see the Marvel panel, it's like you probably have to show up like a day before, if that, or maybe 2 days before, and camp out and be like, "Yeah, I went to San Diego Comic Con. I saw one panel. It was a good one. I didn't see anything else. I did walk around and see some of the booths and stuff like that, but other than that, I didn't see anything else." But yeah, I'd like to go to D23 and sit in the audience and bring exclusive reports to you, but I just don't have the time or the money, and plus I'm working and I have a family, so it's like, it is what it is. But here we go. Here's the official logo for Daredevil Born Again, which I kind of like the one they released the first time. There was another one that they released. This one's kind of cool. I mean, you got the city landscape on the bottom of the Daredevil and Born Again underneath it. And they showed a trailer to Daredevil Born Again, which leaked online. And I did watch it. It wasn't great. It was somebody's phone, and they were further away from the screen. So the video was like, the picture was like, if this is the screen to your phone, the picture was this big. But I was able to see what was going on, and it looked phenomenal. You saw Charlie Cox doing Daredevil things. You saw him hook up with um the Punisher. You saw Frank Castle as the Punisher. So yeah, here's the thing. It looked great, like I said, but you only see the Punisher one, like he looks like he's mad at Charlie Cox. He has him up against one. There's an axe in his hand. He's got the beard and the long hair that he's doing. Like if you remember from the Netflix series, the first season, when after he was done killing everybody that was responsible for his family's death, he was doing the construction thing where he's just beating the wall with the with the hammer, and he let himself go with the beard and the hair and everything. So he kind of looks like he's a little disheveled again here, which I don't know why, because if at the end of season 2 of The Punisher, he was all like, "I'm the Punisher now," and he had his double machine guns, and he was, he ended up, the series ended with him shooting at the gang, so it's like, why is he back to, did he quit again? Yeah, it's like, come on, let's just get it going. Let's just be who you are, be Frank Castle. And we all know he shaves eventually, because we've seen the behind the scenes photos. And stuff like that. So he's got the tactical gear. He's got the skull. He's got a shaved haircut. He's got a haircut, and he doesn't have a beard. So obviously, like, I guess he gets pulled back up. And it's like, if I was Charlie Cox, I'd be like, "Wake up! Come on, let's go. Let's fight some crime." But yeah, so that was a big thing at D23. So, like I said, the trailer, like, from what I saw, like I said, I saw it, I only watched it once and it sucked, but I did see they show like action, like at the end, is when they showed most of the action design, and it was real fast, and it was Charlie Cox, and there's 3 Daredevil uniforms in this one, I guess, which is kind of cool. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Like, this is one of the things I'm excited about for Marvel for next year. I am excited for Captain America: Brave New World, but I'm more excited for Daredevil Born Again, because I'm such a Punisher fan, and I love these two together. And I'm just happy that Disney was like, "Yeah, this is good. Netflix, you had something going here. Now let's keep it going. And then, as we all know, how it was all screwed up at the beginning. They started filming Daredevil Born Again, but then Kevin Feige came in and saw the dailies and saw what they were doing, and it looked like it was just like a Law and Order legal drama. And he was like, "Nope," and he fired everybody. It was like, "We're doing this over again. This is Daredevil, everybody. This isn't Law and Order, So let's get it right. Let's give the fans what they want, because if you don't, I'm gonna hear about it. It's going to be my phone that they're going to be blowing up." So he totally cleaned house and brought new people in. And, now it's back on. It was back. They put it back on track. But unfortunately, of course, with the writer strike and the actor strike and doing that, this has all been delayed. So we're not going to see it till March of next year, which sucks because, it's August. So, you do the math. So it's like, what are you gonna do? So now you gotta wait. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm happy still that I'm getting to see it. So there it is in all its glory, taken from the internet. Then we got some Fantastic Four news. We see the cast, and you see Johnny Storm in a Fantastic Four uniform. So that was another big thing that came out at D23, which looks comic book accurate. I mean, it looks old school. It looks like, because they're doing the whole retro 60s thing, so why he's the only one in it, I don't know. Maybe he was like the test bunny. He's like, so he's like, okay, I'll wear it. So yeah, so there's that too. Then they also have Tron Ares. They announced Nine Inch Nails. Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails is going to do the music to Tron Ares, which yay, it's like, I was such a fan of the first Tron because when it came out, I was a kid and I saw it in the movies with my dad and I loved it. And then they did Tron Legacy and I was not as much of a fan of that one. I mean, I didn't hate it, but it was just like, eh. So I'm not like really excited. Like Tron Ares is like, yay. It's like, okay, whatever. Do we need another one? I mean, probably not after the second one. I mean, this one's probably not going to make any money either. Borderlands is tanking, by the way, if you guys haven't heard. I am not going to see it. I said I was going to probably go see it this weekend, but I was like, I didn't want to waste my time, even with my Regal Cinema membership that I have. So I've been, what I've been doing today on my day off? I've been watching SEAL Team because that starts tomorrow, and I'm super excited. The first 2 episodes of the last season of SEAL Team hits Paramount Plus tomorrow. Bittersweet, but I'm watching season 6 again to get me where, because that's what I do. I have movies that I need to review and stuff like that. But I'm like, you know what? Either pay me and have me be my job and give me deadlines, and I'll be like, yep, I'll do it. But other than that, I do it at my own pace. I mean, I know I got movies to review, but right now I don't feel like working. I'm still doing the website, I'm still doing the podcast, but it's just sometimes I'm not into it. I want to watch other things. Like, did you know what I watched yesterday? All right, let me get this off the screen here for a second so I can blow myself back up because y'all love my pretty face. I watched The Zero Boys. Who remembers The Zero Boys? Because I do. I remember when it came out on VHS all those years ago. It was a take on the slasher films of the 80s, the Friday the 13th and stuff like that. But it was kind of like different. Nico Mastorakis did it. Daniel Hirsch was in it. Kelly Maroney, who I love, who still looks phenomenal, by the way. If you've seen pictures of Kelly Maroney today, she's of course she's older, but she still looks phenomenal. But she used to wear those low cut blouses and those shirts and stuff like that, and she didn't wear a bra. God bless her. But she was in like Chopping Mall, and she's best known for Night of the Comet. But she's in this movie, and it's a story about these 3 guys who are paintball champions, and they celebrate by going on a camping trip with their girlfriends. And lo and behold, they go into the forest, and they stumble upon this. I mean, I guess they're just like, there's these guys and they kidnap women and they videotape torturing them. So it's like snuff films type of thing. So they kind of get mixed into that. But the only thing is they kind of fight back because they go out to practice for their paintball game wars. They have real life Uzis and they go out and they practice shooting and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a take where like, hey, this is like Friday the 13th, but they fight back type of thing. So it's not like they just run around getting killed by these guys and stuff like that. And actually, spoiler, only one of them gets killed. I mean, it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, which I kind of hate. But like only one. So that was kind of refreshing because usually like they'll all die and there'll only be one person left. But this one, like it was, they were like, you know what, we're gonna break from the norm, and I love it. I watch it periodically, and it's got a great score. You know by who? And I just remember I watched it yesterday and I was like, that's right. Hans Zimmer did the score. Well, he co-wrote it with somebody else. I forgot who it is. Sorry for the other guy. But yeah, Hans Zimmer, the great Hans Zimmer, from Batman and Superman and all these great, we all know who he is today, but he did, and the music's great. Like I love the intro. It's like, and then they're showing the if you know what I'm talking about. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. But like you hear him talking at the beginning, and he's like, "This is what we're gonna do. Watch out for the Snake Man," and he's like, and they're like, because they're preparing to go to battle, and stuff like that. And then you hear the music, and it's good music. It's like that synth '80s, like get you in the mood music. And they're showing the title like 8,000 times, like the Zero Boys and stuff like that. And I just remember when I was younger and I was watching, I was like, I love this intro. This is great music. And here enough, Hans Zimmer what did it. Then look at this. I was like, I'm on an 80s kick now. So I watched the Zero Boys, and then I watched Night Force. Who remembers Night Force with Linda Blair? Because I do. It's like Chad McQueen was in it. The late, great Richard Lynch, who we all know was Rostov in Invasion USA, always played bad guys, but broke from the norm and was a good guy in this movie. Yes. And so it's kind of like, you remember the movie Let's Get Harry, where Mark Harmon gets captured and his brother and friends go to rescue him. They're just regular guys. They have no training whatsoever, but they go into Colombia and, they have no training whatsoever, but they win. They get them. They free them, and they kill some Colombian drug lords and stuff like that. Well, it's kind of like this. So here's what it is. So Linda Blair is the star. It's this other girl, she is a senator's daughter, and she's gonna marry another fat guy from another rich family. So they're gonna merge these two wealthy families together. But she gets kidnapped by these terrorists in South America, and her boyfriend, played by James Van Patten, who is screwing her behind her. His brother is actually the one that's marrying her, and he's screwing her behind his back. It's great. And there's actually this long extended sexual scene and stuff like that. And then she's taking a shower, and it's even more extended. It's totally 80s gratuitous. So if you're 16 years old, God love you, you'll love this movie. So she gets kidnapped, and then him, Linda Blair, Chad McQueen, and a bunch of other friends are like, hey, they're not going to negotiate with terrorists, so we're going to go down, and like no training whatsoever. But they run into Richard Lynch, and Richard Lynch plays this Vietnam vet who never went home, kind of like Rambo. And he finds them and he helps them. And I thought there's going to be like this big training sequence, at least like where like he's actually like at least showing them how to, but no, it's just they just tack up and go get around. and the ending is actually pretty good. Like the finale is extended for one, and it's a pretty good shootout, and it's got great music. It's got great 80s music, and not all of them live, which is kind of cool, because it adds that, like that sense of, realism, and fear, like, because not everybody gets out. People like this girl's friends, some of them die in order to get her out. So if I was her, when she gets home, I would totally like do a memorial service for the at least, because they basically sacrificed their life. But yeah, I watched Night Force, which is another one I had on VHS back in the day, and I was like, it's on the Roku channel. And did you know the Roku channel, they have like free entertainment, but they also have like, you can do the premium stuff too. You can like buy like, Amazon and stuff like you could go on there and like do the digital services and stuff like that. But they have a lot of free stuff, and they have a lot of awesome 80s 90s movies that you totally forgot about. And I was going through it today, and I was like, oh my god, I'm putting them all on my saved list. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do retro action, baby. I'm gonna watch these movies one at a time. I'm gonna talk about them because I remember these movies. I had them at one time. Some I still do have. Like I have the Zero Boys. Like Arrow came out with this awesome Blu-ray of it, and where it had great special features with interviews and behind the scenes stuff. So I have that one. So, but I saw it on Tubi, but I was like, why am I watching it on Tubi with commercials? So I broke out my Blu-ray and I put it out. I'm like, oh, this is better. So yeah, I don't have Night Force anymore, unfortunately. I don't know what happened to the VHS of that. I got rid of a lot of my I mean, I pretty much all the moving I did, I lost my VHS tapes. But that's on the Roku channel. So if you want to check it out, there's my gift to you. It's not a bad movie. I mean, it is what it is. It's a gratuitous 80s action movie with sex and violence is what it is. And these normal kids going down to Central America and blowing shit up. God love America. No training whatsoever. I mean, Chad McQueen plays one of her friends, and he's kind of like the Soldier of Fortune magazine kind of guy. Like he's kind of one of those guys. Like I want to, he wanted to be in the army, but he never was. And he reads all the magazines, and he does, and he's like he's all into it. So yeah, so he plays one of those kind of guys. His name's Henry in the movie, I believe. Doesn't really do any martial arts. He throws a few punches here and there and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's just shooting. And he has this big bazooka that he just has. I mean, I guess he got it. I mean, there's no internet back in the 80s, so he probably just ordered it from Soldier of Fortune magazine. So, all right, but enough about that. Let me get back on track. So, oh, so good, so good, so good, so good. All right, so I talked about D23. I talked about Scott Adkins. Also, we have some Star Wars news from D23. And the biggest thing is they did the Skeleton Crew trailer with Jude Law. I'm not going to show, this is not trailer talk, so I will do probably another trailer talk tomorrow. If I have to work all day tomorrow, so if I'm in the mood, maybe. Like I said, it is what it is. I mean, I get, I work all day and I'm like, I get home and I'm just like, I want to sit down, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, so biggest thing is they released the trailer to Skeleton Crew, which has Jude Law starring as a roguish, charming Jedi. And oh yeah, first of all, before we get to that, they released the Mandalorian and Grogu logo. This is Star Wars' big return to the screen after the fiasco that was The Rise of Skywalker. And when that happened, Disney was like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't put 15 movies out a year. Maybe we should slow things down and actually make it. I didn't have a problem with The Rise of Skywalker. It was totally butchered in post-production and stuff like that. And then I heard stories about what it was supposed to be as opposed to what they put on the screen. And then it's like, why didn't you do what was proposed? Because that would have been better. But who the hell am I to say anything? Anyways, Mandalorian and Grogu, we all know it's from the Mandalorian TV series, Mandalorian with Pedro Pascal. I'm assuming he's going to be in it. I mean, he doesn't have to be. I mean, unless he takes the helmet off for a second or two, but he always has the helmet on. But yeah, so it's the theatrical big budget feature film of the series with the Mandalorian and Grogu doing what they do. That ain't coming out to 2026, so we got a lot of time for that one. Oh, so much time. So yeah, all right. What the hell? Okay, so I know this isn't trailer talk, but since we're here, and I'm going to make it small, let's watch the trailer to Skeleton Crew. I haven't seen this actually. So, yeah. So, this is the first time watch for me because I just put it on the website, but I have not watched it.
Tomorrow's test will set the course of your entire future.
So this is, it's kind of like a Goonies vibe.
Exciting? Like what?
I guess it's best to explain
What
it.
if we could go anywhere we want in the whole galaxy? A real adventure. No more pretend.
You know what I mean? Like the Goonies wanted real adventure. Like, they were always like itching for adventures. But let's go out and really do it. And then of course they get in with the crooks and everything.
I think it's a lost Jedi temple.
Then they stumble across the lost Jedi temple.
Hello?
And of course, Jude Law, who's in hiding, I guess. Now, the big thing is the production value on this is pretty solid, and I wrote that in my article. It's got a cinematic feel to it.
Tis dangerous out there in space. Trust no one.
I mean, that looked cool.
You're a Jedi.
He's not even in the trailer. He's like, he's there at the very end. But hey, what are you gonna do? So yeah, so there you go. That's the trailer for Skeleton Crew again. And I haven't watched The Acolyte, but my folks over at the actually, J-Man and they have, and they have not been kind to it. And I always tell them, I go, y'all like I start, because we talk, and I'm like, and then I hear what you guys are saying, and it just makes me not want to watch it. So I'm like, I don't want to watch this. So I have not seen The Acolyte. The last one I saw was, I believe, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So yeah, here's the thing. Like with Star, I got like so much to do and so much to watch. It's like it's hard to watch all this stuff, and I don't know how people do it and still have a life. I really don't. I mean, I have less of a life now that I'm single because I don't do anything except when I have my children. But on the weeks that I don't, all I do is work and then do this. So it's like I probably should, but it's like, again, here's what happens. I have things. I'm like, I really want to watch this, but then I go and watch the Zero Boys, or I go watch Night Force. It's like I'll probably get off of this stream, and I found a movie called Future Hunters with Robert Patrick. We all know Robert Patrick, right? Terminator, such a great career, and actually he's in Hounds of War with Frank Grillo. But such a great actor. I mean, in so many action movies. But this was one of his very. Here we go. In the 80s, there was a man named Sergio H. Santiago, Philippines filmmaker. And he made all these Vietnam-style war pictures and all these shoot-'em-ups and stuff like that. And they were awesome in every sense of the word. Acting sucked, but the production values for what they had bombastic action set pieces. They had stuff blowing up, huts blowing up, choppers blowing up, endless gunfights. And he did a couple movies for him. He did this one called Future Hunters and one called Behind Enemy Lines. Not to be confused with the one with Thomas Ian Griffith, and not to be confused with the one with Owen Wilson, because movies have the same title. But this one's also called Behind Enemy Lines. But that was a good one too, and he played like a guy in Vietnam. And so yeah, so this started. So I started watching that one today, and I was like, so that's where I'm at. I'm in my retro 80s action mode. So it's like I got so much stuff I got to do. And like I got these people sending me screeners, and they're like, and I got one gentleman who sent me his screener. Yes, I'm going to watch it. I'm so sorry. It's like, it is what it is. Like, and I'm kind of jaded from doing reviews, because like it's like, I do reviews, and then I get, then I get bombasted with, comments, and it's just exhausting. It's like, you know what? This is my opinion, and I back it up. This is why I liked it, or this is why I didn't like it. And then I get some jackass who's like, "Oh, this movie sucked," and that's all he says. And I'm like, "Okay, thank you." It's usually when I like a movie, people come out of the woodwork and like, "You don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, "Yes, I do, because I just told you why." So, but yeah, so I'm like, I'm kind of jaded by doing reviews. The last one I did was Deadpool and Wolverine, and was my spoiler-free review. I loved Deadpool and Wolverine, and then like some of my friends didn't. Yes, the plot was thin. Yes, the villains were kind of iffy. But yes, Cable wasn't in it. But it's like it was still an awesome movie, and I loved it. It was one of the best MCU movies since Endgame. Thank you. I'm like, what am I gonna say? I liked it. I did. Okay. So Disney was represented at D23. So all kinds of good stuff. That's the biggest stuff that's happening right now in the world of action. Oh, did you see this too? Ryan Reynolds went on social media, and I wrote an opinion piece where he, like, you know how Hugh Jackman's kind of getting his Wolverine. Well, he got his Wolverine send off in Logan, but now, of course, he came back, and he's lobbying for Wesley Snipes to get the same treatment. We all know Wesley Snipes. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen it, sorry, I don't care. It's been playing for over 2 weeks. Came back as Blade. That was one of the biggest F yeah moments in the movie. At least if you're a fan of me, like me or my friend Owen Frill from the Action League. I remember I was in the cinema. He saw it first because he got to see a screening for it, which was awesome. But I had to wait till Thursday when it came out, and he was like, "Should I tell you the one part?" I'm like, "No, don't tell me because I want to be surprised." And then I was glad he didn't tell me, because as soon as he walked around the corner, and I was like, "Ah!" And I texted him. I was like, "Snipes," and he was like, "Yes." Best part of the movie. So now Ryan Reynolds is lobbying for Wesley Snipes to get the send off, like Logan for Blade, because we all know Mahershala Ali is, if I said that wrong, I'm sorry, whatever. Is supposed to be in the MCU Blade, and that movie's never gonna get made. And then he showed some, behind the scenes pictures of him with Snipes. Snipes looks phenomenal. He's in his 60s. But oh my God, he looked great in the movie. So I did a little opinion piece. And then of course I put this on. This is one of my favorite fight scenes from Blade 2. He drops into the blood, before he takes on Ron Perlman, which was kind of cool because it's not really a fight. He just slices him in half. And this is one of my favorite fight scenes from the Blade franchise. I like how you think he's down and out. Ron Perlman thinks he's got him. He just starts walking away because he's smug and an asshole, and thinks his shit doesn't stink. But then they start playing the music, and he gets up because now he drank the blood, and he's all like, "I'm Blade again." And then him coming out of the blood is just it's awesome. This is why Wesley Snipes should still be Blade. And I like he cracking the bones. And then these poor schmucks come in. It's like, what are you gonna do? You can't beat this. This is pure comic book awesomeness. This is why, yes. Can we have Wesley Snipes make more Blade movies, please? Marvel, get on it. I mean, they had the line, there's only been one Blade. There's only going to be one Blade. And then Deadpool looks at the screen as if to say, yeah, Marvel. Yeah, so it's like they put that in the movie. So, like, let's trash the whole, no offense to the other actor, but let's do this. Please. And this is just one scene from the movie. And I like Blade Trinity. I'm sorry. I mean, I know a lot of people hate that movie, but I enjoyed it. And Jessica Biel was hot in it. And I loved Ryan Reynolds in it. And I know they had a feud going on, which in a sense they made up, of course. Because, Ryan Reynolds called Wesley Snipes up to be in Deadpool and Wolverine, which is awesome. So, yeah. So, I'm a fan of that. And, so, yeah. So, that's another thing that I'm all for. I mean, yes, can we get Wesley Snipes as Blade, please? Because how many times have I said, suits in offices just don't know what fans want. So, there's nothing more I can say. Now the other big news I'll have for you right here in a second is that there it is. Keanu Reeves and Chad Stahelski are developing a John Wick 4 sequel series. We all know the Continental came out on Peacock, which again was hit and miss. Like, the ending was great, and I always said that, like, it looked like they spent most of the budget on the finale, which was awesome. But like the rest of the miniseries was kind of, because it was 3 individual movies put together like a miniseries. It was good. It was okay, but it wasn't like John Wick-esque for the most part. But they're supposed to be doing a sequel series to John Wick Chapter 4. And it's supposed to combine new and old uh, combine new and old and thrust the Wick universe into a new age is what from Deadline. The report comes from the Deadline, and it's called John Wick: The High Table. And we all know at the end of John Wick Chapter 4, we all know, again, spoiler if you haven't seen John Wick Chapter 4, it's been out for years. I can't help you. He dies at the end, and the High Table is kind of like in disarray. So it's all about that, and the High Table being disarray. What happens now? We all know Donnie Yen's doing his Kane spinoff. We all know Ballerina's coming out next year with Anna de Armas. So Chad is doing a lot of things with Lionsgate and the John Wick universe. He's trying to expand the universe. Will it succeed? We don't know. Like, Ballerina went into reshoots. Chad had to come in and fix the action, we know. So hopefully that bodes well for the film. I'm still excited for it. A lot of people aren't, but it is what it is. Well, it was supposed to come out this month, but now The Crow's coming out and taking its place because they pushed it to next year and to do the reshoots and stuff like that. The Continental was okay. I'd probably give it a 3. I never did an official review for the Continental, but I'd probably give it like a 3 or 3.5, which is solid. The ending was great. Like the finale, the action in the first one was good. There was some snippets of good stuff in the second one, and then the ending was great. But other than that, not much to write home about. So there you go. There's my weekly intel for right now. So again, we got Scott Adkins he's going to be doing Scott Adkins things in the movie Death March. Interesting enough, if you've seen Scott Adkins on social media, and I'm going to end with this. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes here as I see people texting me. Sorry, I don't know if it's important or not. He said that it is called right now Death March, but he also said that he also gave out some other titles like Empty Hand and POW. I'm a fan of Empty Hand. I kind of hope that they change it to Empty Hand because the whole thing, it's got a World War II blood sport vibe to it. It's like blood sport in a World War II concentration camp or internment camp, prisoner of war camp. So that would be a cool title, Empty Hand. POW, not so much. It's kind of generic. That's a generic. Don't use that one. Death March is still cool. If it's called Death March when it hits, I'm assuming it's going to get a limited theatrical run plus digital and then eventually physical media release. If it's called Death March, that's still a viable option, but I'm a fan of Empty Hand. So Lewis and Scott, if you're listening to my podcast, rename it Empty Hand because that would be super awesome, and it's more in line of what the movie is. Because he's a fighter and he gets captured and he gets forced into these fights, empty-handed fights. I'm sure there's gonna be weapons involved, but it's even with weapons, it's still pure empty-handed combat. They call it. I am a martial artist, so I know a few things of what I'm talking about. So I'm excited for that. And if they change the title to Empty Hand, you heard it here first. But if it's still called Death March, that's fine too. So in a nutshell, there you go. Well, not in a really nutshell. I'm at 50 minutes, but hey, I'm less than an hour. I did my trailer talk the other day in less than an hour, or I think it was. Yeah, just about, or like a little bit over. So I'm doing better. So now that I'm stabilized, so I told you guys before, like I'm going to be doing the weekly intel by itself. I mean, I did show the Skeleton Crew trailer. I'm sorry. I could have waited for another trailer talk, but by the time I do another trailer talk, it would have been like, old news. So, and there's a lot of other trailers actually that I put on the website. Like I said, there's Paradox Effect with Olga Kurylenko and Harvey Keitel that, I put on the website. Just a bunch of trailers that have been put out. I only did the 4 the other day. Plus Gunner again. I did Gunner for the second time because it just looks awesome. I'm excited for it. I'm like, Luke Hemsworth. And he sounds like Thomas Jane in the movie. And he's got this Kurt Russell vibe going. And we all know Chris Hemsworth is the man. He's Thor. He's Tyler Rake, from the Extraction movies. And even Liam Hemsworth's doing his thing. He was in Land of Bad, which is shaping up to be one of the best action movies of 2024. Milo Ventimiglia, he needs to do more of what he did in Land of Bad. So somebody give that guy a movie, make him the lead, and have him do what he did in Land of Bad because he didn't do enough of it because, spoiler, he dies. And I was like, motherfucker. I was like, I wanted to see him do more, but it was what it was. It was realistic, and I mean, he was kind of Rambo-esque, but, at the end of the day, what happened. But he needs to do more of those types of movies because he rocked it in that movie. He had the most F yeah moments out of anybody in that movie, including Liam, who was the star of the movie. Russell Crowe was great in it. I thought he wasn't going to be in a lot of the movie, but he was, and he had some great lines and everything. So again, one of the best movies of 2020. So Luke Hemsworth now is coming out with Gunner. So is Gunner going to be in my, rankings for best? So it's like I'm laughing, like as I was joking. Like if you remember my conversation with Brent Foster, I interviewed him not once but twice for Art of Fighting or Life After Fighting. Sorry. Life After Fighting, his big movie, which again, one of the best action movies of 2024. Where I was like, it's The Beekeeper, Land of Bad, and Life After Fighting. So now is Gunner gonna be, is Luke gonna sneak in with his brother Liam, and because that looks like a really good movie. And it looks like there's some solid action in it, and everything. So if anything, I'm gonna do a top 10, and a lot of these movies are gonna be in it. So there you go. All right, so happy Saturday to everybody. I'm gonna go get some dinner because I'm hungry. And as I'm speaking, my baseball team sucks. They had the best record in baseball, and they had a 9-game lead. And they've lost 7 in a row. Good for you, Cleveland Guardians. They're winning right now 1-0 in the top of the 6, which does not even. I mean, the only reason is because our pitcher is doing really good, but they're not scoring, and I'm pissed off at them. So what are you going to do? I was all excited. Now I'm starting to get that, Northeast Ohio negative vibes going. Because if you're from Northeast Ohio, you know what I'm talking about. It's like nothing ever works out for our sports teams, except for the Cleveland Cavaliers that one year when they beat Stephon Curry and the Golden State Warriors. But U.S. men's basketball team won gold today. So did the women's soccer team. Good for them. Super excited. And there you go. There's the weekly intel to go along with the trailer talk this week. So I've done 2 podcasts this weekend. Oh, yes, I was able to do it, everybody. I'm still trying to shake up my talent. I have a couple guys I'm trying to get on the ACTION-FLIX podcast for exclusive interviews. And like I said, I never name names. And I have to still do my Randy Couture interview. I have not forgotten about it, but I'm just like putting it together and everything. It's coming. It's just taking a little bit longer, but it did happen. He was frozen a lot during the interview, you'll see, but you can still hear him. I lose him a couple times, but he comes back right away. So you know what? I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to make it and put it in as is. It is what it is. So, he was in his cabin in the woods, wherever he was. I forget what he said, South Dakota or something. I forgot. It's in their interview. But yeah, he's coming. I did interview him, so I can say it. I do have it. It's on my computer. I just have to, I'm getting it together and everything and putting it together. Cause like I said, again, I do it when I can. And the movie already had come out. Like the movie was for Angels Fall and Warriors of Peace. But by the time they got a hold of me to do interviews, and it was only him that I interviewed, the movie had already been released on digital. So it's not like I'm, rushing to get it out before it came out. The movie was already out on digital, and this was just after the fact, which is still great. Don't get me wrong. It was my second interview with Randy Couture, so I was super excited. My first one, I talked to him over the phone, and it's a written interview that you can see on ACTIONFLIX.com. Just Google Randy Couture on my website, and then he'll pop up as a lot of articles I've done with Randy Couture. So yeah, so this will be my second interview for the ACTION-FLIX podcast, and you'll actually get to listen to him talk. So that will be great. Yes, it is coming. I promise. I just, I have other things going on. And like I said, I have so much I want to do with the website. And then I just get bogged down and, life happens and I watch the 0 Points a Night Force instead of doing things I'm supposed to be doing for the website. But like I said, I don't do this. I get snippets of financial income from this website, but it's like, how close can I put my thumb and finger together? It's like, that's how much I get. So, but like I said, if somebody wanted to make this if somebody called me up or emailed me and said, "Hey, we want you to do this full time," I'd be like, "Great." Then I have deadlines and I'll make sure things are out and I'll go to work and I'll just sit down on my computer because that's my ultimate goal. I don't want this job. I got promoted at this job. No offense to this job, and even my boss hates this job. We both want to leave, but it is more money, so I'd be dumb enough not to take it. But it's like this is what I want to do, you know. And I always say, I want to like take my girl to school and be like, Daddy's got to go to work, and then just come home and get on the computer and like just do this and get paid for it and still love it because I do it because I love it. This is my passion, action movies and stuff, you know, since I was a kid, you know. And if it was able to do it, you know, other people do it for a living with these big websites, why not me? It's like, I'm personable, you know. I have knowledge of action movies, you know, I've been told. I mean, listen, this is not me saying it. I've had people in the industry, mind you, tell me that I am influential in action cinema when it comes to action blogging. So there you go. I mean, like, and that's not me blowing my own horn. That's people from the industry telling me that how influential I am and how much of a source I am in action cinema entertainment by doing this website. And this is just something I started 10 years ago when my daughter was born because I loved it so much and I just wanted to do it. Just and who knew that I mean, like I it's blown up pretty good. I mean, it's not like, you know, big websites blown up, but you know, it's there. So I'm excited. All right, so I'm just babbling now. So I'm going to let you guys go. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the Weekly Intel. Scott Adkins in Dead March. We got Daredevil Born Again, which isn't coming out until next year, but oh well. But hopefully they released the teaser trailer they showed that I saw that was leaked online. So if you can find it, watch it. It's good. You'll like it. If you're a Daredevil fan or the fan of the series or a fan of the comic book or a fan of Charlie Cox and John Berthal doing what they do best, you're going to like this teaser. So hopefully Disney will just release it and be like, here you go. And then I can officially put it on the website and then do a trailer talk about it and just gloat over it. But I like talking. See this, like I'm by myself right now. I got my cat, you know, and stuff like that. And I just like, you know, doing this because it gives me something to do. Like I am hungry though. I have to have dinner, and it's coming up to 8 o'clock Central Standard Time in Panama City, and I hear thunder. It's not supposed to rain for like the next 7 days, but I heard thunder. That's Florida for you. What are you gonna do? And I got to work tomorrow all day, like literally all day. I think it's 9 to 6. So like I said, how I feel when I get home, I don't know. So maybe I'll do one more just to get the weekend out of the way. And plus I get my daughter back on Monday. She starts school on Monday. So I'm super excited to pick her up from school and see how that went. And, you know, because they start school early down here in Florida because they got out in May. So, yeah, so that's another thing. So, like, you know, I'm trying to do this as much as I can. I got physical therapy still going on, all kinds of crap. So I still have to figure out what I'm going to do with my apartment. Like I said, I've mentioned how, like, I kind of want to move. Like, this place is okay, but you know, it's a nice quiet place, but you know, if I could get something closer to where my daughters are and where my work is, that'd be even better. I mean, it's not that far. It's like 20 minutes, but still, if you could go from 20 minutes to like 5, that's a lot better. You know, especially with this traffic during the summertime when people are coming here for vacations and stuff like that, because it sucks. All right, so enough of that. So, Weekly Intel. Boom, it's a wrap. Trailer talk. Make sure you check that one out. I will put it up on the website too, along with this one, you know, and get it going. I will review those movies. I'm not going to mention them, but I have a few movies I have to review. But like I said, I'm probably just going to spend the rest of the night either watching SEAL Team Season 6 to get me ready because Season 7 comes out. Or the first 2 episodes premiere tomorrow on Paramount Plus, and I'm super excited because it's my favorite show and it's ending. So we only got 10 more episodes until we say bye-bye to Bravo team, David Boreanaz and crew. And we're all still feeling it from Clay's death in Season 6. If you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. All right, enough of that. Have a good night, everybody. Until next time, this is John with ActionFlix.com saying we are your ultimate destination for your action fix. Check us out at ActionFlix.com as well as ActionFlix on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X or Twitter, whatever the hell it's called. I could care less about that anymore with Elon Musk. It's like now you have to pay to like do streaming on there. So that's why I don't stream on X anymore, because I went to go live one day and then it was like, oh, you got to do this now for. I'm like, and it delayed my telecast or whatever, and I got so mad. I was like, you know what? No, I don't. So screw you. So I just do a Facebook and YouTube. until they tell me I can't do that either. So then I don't know what I'll do. But and then of course I have my audio podcast that I'm still trying to get going again, and I will. I promise. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna do it and not do it, but it is what it is. All right. So there you go. I'm done. Death March with Scott Adkins. Check it out. Check out all of my articles on ACTION-FLIX.com and all my interviews and all my exclusive stuff and all kinds of cool shit for action cinema. Alien Romulus comes out next week, which I will have to wait to watch till the following week. So the following week, I'll be able to see both Alien Romulus and The Crow. Hopefully I get to see The Crow on opening day because I really want to do that. And then I'll probably do a podcast to talk about that one because, like I said, everybody's dissed on that movie since its creation. And the one guy said it was bad. It was unwatchable, but he was the guy that was supposed to write it in the first place. And then he got let go of the project. So he just sounded like he was just hateful. So you can read that article too. That's on my ACTION-FLIX.com. I could care less. I called him out. I'm like, really? You just look like you're bitching because you didn't write the movie. Anyways, there you go. So yeah, we got those two movies coming out, and Gunner comes out next Friday also. So I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do a review for that one. Might do a podcast review for that one too, because that might warrant a podcast review for Gunner, because that is super. Like I said, it just looks like a good movie, and I think Luke Hemsworth has a career like his brothers do in action cinema. And we're always talking about next generation action stars, like Ryan Gosling's kicking it. I like The Fall Guy. I'm sorry for those that didn't like The Fall Guy. I liked it. I have not watched the extended cut yet, so I have to check out the extended cut with it, and stuff like that. So yeah, so Luke Hemsworth's another one that's throwing his hat in the ring for action star. So we got a lot of good things going on in action cinema. So it's a good time to be an action fan. A lot of stuff coming out, whether it's in the theaters or if it's digital and streaming and all that good stuff. All right, so I'm really going to shut up now. So have a good weekend, everybody. Enjoy it. If I don't see you again until next week or the following week, then be safe and make sure you watch some action movies. Watch The Zero Boys, watch Night Force. Let me know what you think if you haven't seen them before, because it's pure 80s awesomeness, and it's just everything you love about the 80s. Good night, everybody.